tell you, it made a bad situation worse. Have a look at this vision of President Biden, confused, disorientated as the crowd mobbed Obama.
It's the first time I've ever really felt sorry for Joe Biden as president. He was wandering, as you say, he's disoriented. And even when he touched Obama on the shoulder, Obama didn't respond and turn around. And it's not good for the US president. It's not good for the United States. It's not good for the world, quite frankly, to see such a doddering old bloke in charge of such a powerful economy.
Yeah, and it's not like the West doesn't have a lot of stuff on its plate. I mean, the West needs a strong American leader like never before.
So I think it's fair to say that from time to time, I've been known to take my fair amount of shots at Joe Biden in this administration. But I can honestly say for the first time the other night, I myself personally had some sort of empathy or pity towards the man after Obama showed up at the White House and basically Joe Biden looked completely lost. And I just have to assume if our allies, that clip from the beginning was from Australian media, if they are looking at it and it frightens them, I can't even imagine how the rest of the world, who are our enemies, are looking at this administration and possibly how vulnerable our country is right now, especially with the inflated economy and market that we are trying to ride out. All right, so when we come back from the intro, I want to get into where I've been, what I've been doing. We'll get into Trey and Astro and their theory on puts for AMC. And we'll talk about the withdrawal from northern Ukraine and Kiev and what are the next steps going forward for Ukraine and Russia in this war. All right, but before we do any of that,
cue the speeder.
This is the way.
all right, let's kick this party off. Ape Nation, what's going on? It is Thursday, April 7th, 2022. And really quick, looking at the charts, AMC today closed the day down 3.25%, closing price of $19.73. It's down a little more in after hours. And GME closed the day at 150 even, up right now 1 penny in after hours, and it's currently 532. Now, where have I been? What have I been doing? I actually tried to upload this video last night, but unfortunately, while I was working on the Jon Stewart compilation, I updated my editing software, and last night, for some reason, I had a new version I hadn't paid for, and so there was a watermark across the whole video. So I had to pull it back down again and redo it today. And so you're going to get the video tonight. Now, when I went back to look at how the apes cracked Wall Street, which was the CNBC video or documentary, whatever you want to call it, that Melissa Lee and CNBC did, I noticed in particular that the interviews between Trey and Matt really stood out to me. And I just started to think to myself, you know, am I doing this more for the YouTube channel and the views and all that? Or am I still in this because I believe in the Moass and AMC and the company and the play? And in my opinion, it's always healthy to take a step back, reevaluate your position, look at your conviction in the stock itself, the company. How financially can you afford to go forward with this if it's going to take longer? Can you plan that out? And the only way I can personally do that is by blocking out all the other noise. Then that's what I tend to do from time to time. And as long as there's a fight to be had, I'll continue to make videos and I'll continue to do live streams and all of that and try to push forward for new rules, new regulations, and accountability for Wall Street, the banks, and the government that allows them to slither around. All right. So I hope you guys understand all of that. And it's probably a perfect transition to get into the subject matter of Trey and Astro and the theory about puts. And here's all I'm going to say about that. And I haven't talked to anyone else in the community about this. I haven't watched any videos on it or anything like that. I tried to do the same thing when they bought the HYCROFT mining shares. When we saw the price run up last week or 2 weeks ago, this 34 number, and we saw the stock halted on the way down and not on the way up. Now, when there's a move like that most people have never seen before, there obviously is no way you can prepare for it. And I understand that the call options have been getting crushed for the last 8 months on AMC and GME, and a lot of people have lost a lot of money. Investors who haven't been in the market a long time don't understand about the Greeks, IV, all those things. It can be a very complicated space, and you can't prepare for things like this. And so when it comes to this theory, I don't know if it's going to work or not. What I do know is there are going to be some people who make big mistakes and it's going to cost them, and other people will make money, and that's the way the market has always gone. I just personally think that AMC and GME are two totally different animals, and when I see things like this, it really puts the dampers on me personally trying to predict where AMC is going to land, certain prices and specific dates. So I'm going to be watching from the sidelines, I guess, for right now. But of course, you guys do whatever you want with your money. And that opinion could change just over time. We just don't know. And possibly we'll come back around to this theory in the very near future. Okay, but we got to move on. I put Ukraine in the thumbnail. We got to talk about what's going on there. It's having a major effect on the economy right now. If you haven't noticed, gas prices are out of control. They're talking about food shortages, all types of things. So let's get down the nitty gritty. Let's find out what's actually happening in Ukraine. From what I can tell, as of yesterday afternoon, where are we at with this war? Now, before we start looking at the maps and where the troop movements are, I just want to bring to your attention some of this propaganda. This article here is entitled "Moment Brave Ukrainian Troops Ambush Russian Tank Convoy Sending It into Chaos." Now, a lot of you might have seen this video already. This here is an article obviously written from the Ukrainian side. But you'll see here, it goes into detail talking about the tank getting blown up. And when we see the video, you might recognize it. But they don't show the aftermath of what happens. And I just want to show you guys a great example of the magic of editing. Watch.
I'll just do a little bit of quick editing, and I'll show you a failed ambush using the same footage. Shot is fired, hits the tank, ERA probably. A BMP fires an autocannon to suppress as it leaves the kill zone. The target tank keeps rolling, apparently the ERA worked, and you can see the exhaust plume from the exhaust left rear of the tank as the driver guns it out of the area. Then the following tanks further behind the column orient on the ambush, and two of them blast the attackers with 125mm HE frag. Those poor, desperate, futile fools. As the original target tank just continues to drive off the bottom of the screen. What a waste of life.
So shout out to the chieftain for pulling up that example. And guys, this is what mainstream media is constantly doing. They do a lot of editing and jump cuts so that you don't get the whole story. All they show you is what they want you to see. And clearly here we can see there are consequences and there are reactions to every action. If you really want to know what's going on in Ukraine on a day-to-day basis, you got to go do your own research. It's the only way you're going to get the whole story. All right, guys, I'm going to try to break this down for you as quick and painless as possible. So as of right now, we know that Kyiv is in pretty good shape. This all used to be held by Russian forces, and now all of those forces have actually pulled back into Belarus. They are over the Belarusian border, and Ukrainian counteroffensive, unlike the United States southern border, they actually respect each other's borders, so Ukraine won't go over and attack Belarus or attack Russian soldiers in a sovereign country. Now, a lot of speculation by the brass, the people who make a lot more money than I do, have said that the troops who have pulled back into this area are possibly going to be redeployed to the Eastern Front, which is over here. So once we have the troops that have evacuated this area and been pushed back to actually Russia's Western Front, you're going to see right now we have this line here, this demarcation line that is basically separating Russian and Ukrainian forces. This is the Donbass region right here. And on the red side, this is held by Russia. Now, those 40,000 troops that are added to the front here are going to make a big push, more than likely, into this area to try to secure it. Now, the other big concern right now that everyone has is the port here of Mariupol getting cut off. Mykolaiv here and Odessa, which are two of the big port cities. And the reason keeping those cities open is important is because you want to be able to have exports and imports still coming in. You don't want to be a completely landlocked country. And from what I can tell, Mariupol right here is possibly about to fall. This place here, I'm going to get a different color so we can make demarcation between. So here, Mariupol is the port city here that's in trouble. It's actually completely surrounded right now and about to be enveloped. Then you have Mykolaiv over here and Odessa, which are the two other big port cities. And these are very important to the Ukrainian high command. They want to definitely hold their positions on the ports. So we could see a real major offensive in the next couple of weeks, guys, that are be coming from the eastern part of the country, and a big fight for control of this area here. And really what needs to happen is the Ukrainians need to make sure they don't get cut off. They got to make sure they don't get encircled here, that these two armies possibly meet, and then they're going to be trapped here in the center. And that's what you don't want to see happen. So offense, 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 and offense. There's going to be a lot of Russian push to take out these forces, and only time will tell what is going to happen. All right, guys, I think that's a good place to leave it for tonight. I hope that breakdown wasn't too quick. Possibly once we get the redeployment actually on picture and we could see it, I can go into a little more in depth, but just for now, to give you an idea of what's really going on there. As always, guys, thank you so much for all of my views, my likes, the comments, my new subscribers, my OGs. I appreciate each and every one of you. We are here to break the wheel. This is Ape Nation. I'm the Massalorian, and I'm out.